Hi, today we're going to do Machen chapter 4, which is our first chapter about nouns. This chapter is about the second declension nouns in the Greek language. Declension just means groups of nouns. So the second declension are just a group of masculine, grammatically masculine, and grammatically neuter nouns in Greek. The masculine nouns of this group end in omicron signa os, like adelphos, or doulos, or apostolos. And the neuter nouns end in omicron nu, like hieron or doron. Now these nouns change in Greek depending on their function in the sentence. And there's basically 4 functions. Now English doesn't do this. English nouns retain the exact same form no matter what function they perform in the sentence, but Greek changes them. Let me just give you a quick example. If I was going to give you a simple English sentence like, Bob gives the book of Lucy to Paul, I have 3 people performing 3 different functions in one object. The object is the book, it's being passed. The actor is Bob, he's passing the book. The owner of the book is Lucy. Bob gives the book of Lucy, and the recipient of the book is Paul. So in this particular case, you have 3 people, an owner of the book, a passer of the book, the recipient of the book, and the object, the book itself. Now, in English, if Bob was to perform these different functions, he would still look the same in the sentence. Paul gives the book of Bob to Lucy. Jim gives the book of Lucy to Bob. Paul gives the Bob of Lucy to Jim. No matter if Bob is the giver, the object, the owner, or the recipient, he's always Bob. Looks the same. But Greek and most other languages change the end of a noun or a thing slightly depending on which of these 4 functions, the actor, the object, the owner, or the recipient, that particular word performs in the sentence. So if we just took a simple Greek noun like anthropos, which means man, if he is the actor or the main subject of the sentence, he takes the form anthropos. If he's the owner, if he's owning the book in this case, the book of a man, he changes slightly from anthropos to anthropo. If he's the receiver of something, something's being passed to him, he's the direct object, he takes a slightly different ending, he takes the form anthropo. And if he's the object, if he's being passed, or if he's receiving the action, if he's the direct object, the ending is anthropon. So just to give you an example, if a man does something in a sentence, in Greek, he takes the form anthropos. If he owns something, anthropo. If he receives something, anthropo. If he receives the action, anthropon. In the plural, they have slightly different endings as well. But this is the basic way that Greek works, that you take a noun and you alter its ending slightly depending whether it's doing the action, it's owning something in the sentence, it's receiving something in the sentence, or it's receiving the action. Just to review the endings in the singular briefly, anthropos or man as the subject, anthropos. The owner, anthropo. As the recipient, anthropo. As the object, anthropon. I could also do the plurals. If I have more than one men doing something as the actors, anthropoi. Men owning something, anthropon. Men receiving something being passed to them or given to them or shown to them, anthropos. Or men receiving the action. I hit the men or I give the men, anthropos. That's basically it for these masculine nouns of the second declension. The neuter is almost identical to the masculine with just some slight changes. The neuter nouns in the actor form, the dictionary form, the one that you get in the vocabulary list, ends with an on, doron, hieron. So if you have a neuter noun that's being the subject or doing the action, for instance, a gift does or a temple does, it's hieron. If the temple owns, hieru. If something's given to the temple, hiero. If something's done to the temple, hieron. In the plural, these are the endings. The temples do something, hiera. The temples own something, something of the temples, hieron. Something's given to the temples, hierois. And something's done to the temples, hiera. These are the functionary endings of nouns, masculine and neuter, for the second declension, the second group of Greek nouns.